This week's Parashat Behar, has a very important halacha about taking care of our brothers and sisters, about loving the Jewish people and being there for each other when we need to be there for them. And I think it's actually a halacha that we all know about intuitively. We all know we should be doing this, but I think sometimes when we see the pasuk inside, focus on the pasuk inside, it might make it stronger in us. And there's no big chidushim today, but I think it's just an important pasuk that I think sometimes we gloss over as we know being true, but we don't realize that it's like black and white written in the Torah, and we got to be doing this. We got to be stepping it up and helping each other. Okay, so what does the pasuk say? So the pasuk says, if you have yourself, one of your brothers becomes poor, and he comes into a very bad financial situation, he's really struggling, he's coming to a point of struggling in life, ger v'toshav. He says you have to grab onto him. Grab onto him, whether he's a ger, whether he's a toshav, whether he's a naturally born Jew, whether he's a convert. Remember last week's parasha, we spoke about the problems of the guy who was like a half Jew, wasn't sure with his father and mother, and the kind of pain that he has led to cursing to God. Here the Torah is coming along and saying you got to grab on to the Jew, to the convert. It doesn't matter what he is. He's part of our people. We got to step it up and we got to grab onto him. The high imach, so that he should be able to live with us. And then it goes on to say, don't take interest from him, fear God, because you want to be able to live. We want people to be able to survive. Now, what's it talking about? So if you look at the language of the pasuk, it's not talking about tzedakah. It's not talking about a guy who is so poor right now that he needs to be taken care of. I have to say, sadly, with the course of what was going on this year, there's been so many cases of tzedakah funds that are popping up all over the place. Most of these tzedakah funds are things that are outside of our ability. You know, it's like a big makkah that comes from Hashamayim. We had last week what happened in Eretz Yisrael, in Meron. We have all these families that need help right now. So these tzedakah funds are opening up with Corona, all the people that have passed away, that are in charge of families. There's been so many tzedakah funds that we've stepped it up, and kol hakavod to Klal Yisrael for raising all this money and helping all these families that are really deeply in need. That's not what our pasuk is talking about. Our pasuk is not talking about tzedakah. The word tzedakah is nowhere written in this pasuk. Rather, it's a pasuk of a guy of ki yamuch achicha, which is a little bit of a lighter level of falling down. And the language of grab onto him, ve'chazakta bo, and help him up. What is it talking about? So Rashi explains, it's talking about a guy who's starting to fall. He's starting to get into debt. You know, he has those... I was listening to a shiur by Farhi. He gave some very good practical examples that the guy has to pay his rent, his monthly rent, and he's starting to fall behind. He's one rent payment behind. He's two rent payment behind. But it's not a foreclosure. He's not going to be kicked out just yet. But it's on his way towards that direction. That's the point that Rashi says you have to step it up. The pasuk is saying you got to step it up, grab onto him, prop him up, so he won't become that tzedakah case. So he won't become that person that we're going to have to raise thousands of dollars for. But rather earlier on, the Rambam learns from here, Maimonides he says, okay, here, if you can give him a job, give him a job. If you can find ways for him to make it in life and step and hold him up, prop him up, grab him. The pasuk, such dramatic language, prop him up, grab him, and make him be able to stand on his own 2 feet. And Rashi has the famous mashal, and I have to say that I made the mistake to focus too much on the mashal. Not really, the mashal is talking about human beings, but the mashal is you have a guy with a donkey, and once the donkey's load falls, we already learned the halacha that if a donkey is fallen under his load, we got to step it up and help the donkey back up. You know, the donkey's in pain, he has the load on top of him, you help load it back up. Even if it's your enemy's donkey, step it up with your enemy, pick it up and help the donkey back up. Rashi says our section right now is one step before, where the donkey looks like it's about to fall. One side is getting too heavy, he's leaning towards one side. So quickly run up to the donkey and help with the load and repackage it or take off part of it so that way the donkey can keep going on its own. Rashi's not talking about a donkey, people. He's talking about human beings. That's the mashal, so we can understand it. It's talking about our friends. Open up your eyes, look around to all of our friends, see people that are in need. And when it's getting close, they haven't fallen yet. That's when you go there. Can you lend a helping hand? Or even more than a helping hand, grab onto them and pick them up. That's what we're talking about over here. We have to look around, love each other, love our neighbors, but notice the point where it's starting to get to that area where they're about to fall. And when they're about to fall, let's go at that point. Prop them up so they'll be strong and they're going to make it. And B'ezrat Hashem, we should increase. Hashem says that this is going to lead to fear, it's going to lead to love. B'chai b'hem, we should all live with each other and have peace. Shabbat Shalom.